Clog TV.
Beyond the policy.
Yeah, welcome back to the KOKO Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the KOKO Digest Morning Show, and we're about to have our main discussion. But today's discussion comes with a little twist, and I have my co-host here with me, and he's in the person of Clement Yabankwe. He's joining me here for the main discussion with our guest, and he will be giving us the overview of today's discussion. So, Clement, take us away.
We are back again.
Yeah.
And today's discussion happens to be something that Ghanaians really want to hear, because job is something that we can't do away with. Well, that is what puts food on our table. So if there is lack of job in the economy, it makes the economy very, very hard, and people are unable to go on with their daily activities. But I have a little data about unemployment rate in Ghana, and this specifically for the youth. So in 2021, the unemployment rate in Ghana for the youth was 17% in 2021, and out of that, we have 7% for males, and female were 10%. So in 2021, we see that the women were actually unemployed. Majority of them were unemployed. In 2022, the unemployment rate for youths, they were 16%, males were 6.5%, and females were 9.5%. In 2023, unemployment rates for the youths is 15%, and 6% of them were males, and 9% they were females. 2024 unemployment rate for the youth is 14%, and out of this 14%, 5.5% are males, and the rest are females. So with this very statistics we have, that tells us that our youths, actually, majority of them are unemployed, and that should be something that the government or any other person who has a capacity to be able to create job for such people to do so, because unemployment rate actually brings a lot of issues. So we discussing job creation today. I think it's a good thing for many people who are watching us today. And around, when you look at these sectors in our regional part, that's the northern region has the highest unemployment rate as per the youth, because according to Ghana Statistical Service, it says that the national youth unemployment rate, that is from 15 to 24 years, we have 32% of these people.
Yeah. And
out of the 32%, the northern region has the highest of 39%. We have the Savannah region also getting another one of 38.2%. The northeast is 34.7%. So you could see that the northern parts of our country, they are experiencing the higher rate of unemployment. When it comes to the urban and the rural aspect of unemployment, so the urban has the highest unemployment rate as compared to the rural. The question is why? Because people know that in the villages, in the small communities, the job is not there. So everybody is running to Accra, to Kumasi, to get the job. And coming to Accra, to Kumasi, to the question is, so these are the issues that is really facing the economy. And I know our guests would give a lot of talk on this very thing, especially in the aspects of job creation.
Yeah, thank you so much. So as you heard from Clemens, a basic overview of our unemployment rate. So yes, that brings us to the title of today's discussion, which is priority policies for job creation. And our guest is in the person of Mr. Stephen Kwashi, and he's a seasoned finance expert. So he's coming to tell us things, the things he knows, the technical know-hows and everything. Then he's also an entrepreneur with a strong foundation in both public and private sectors. And he's the CEO of Print Pro Ghana Consults Limited, and he leads a consulting and printing business focused on helping individuals as well as organizations to achieve their goals effectively. And he runs a rabbit farm, blending his, so he's also taking some agricultural entrepreneurship aside, in addition to the more industrial or maybe technical kind of entrepreneurship as well. So, Good morning.
Morning. Good
Thank
morning.
you so much for joining us here once again.
I'm happy to be here once again. You know, the last time I was here was last December.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm happy to be back.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, I think this year we'll be able to do a lot of rounds. Sure. Yeah, and speak to the people.
Yeah. So I think we should just get straight into the conversation. But I mean, you came in December. We have new viewers. So if you can just give us a little bit of your background, tell us a little bit about the Print Pro company and then even the rabbit farming as well.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the rabbit farming because I have my passion in there. You know, the last time I came here, I mentioned that I went to the north and I saw someone doing rabbit farming. And I like the trajectory Clement was coming from, the fact that unemployment is high at the north. And it doesn't make sense to me because we have huge land size at the north. We have small land size in Accra. So, you know, it doesn't make sense, like I said. You expect production to happen at the north. Not even at Accra, because that's where we have the land size.
So that they bring it to us.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. And fortunately for me, you know, I was on a project at the north and I saw someone doing rabbit farm. And it was surprising to me because I was thinking that you wouldn't see rabbits growing in hot temperature because the north up there is very hot. So I just asked a few questions from them. And I saw that, okay, this is a viable business and that it is an alternative source of protein, comparing it to chicken and beef. So I decided that, okay, when I come back to Accra, I'll venture into the business. So I did my own research. I went to see other people who are into the same business. They gave me the advice and I started. And glory be to God, I'm doing well in it. You know, the reason why I like rabbit farming is that none of its products is going to be waste. You're going to have the meat, the droppings, you're going to use it for manure. The urine, you are going to use it for pesticides, for agriculture. So that is it for rabbit farming. And that is where I have my passion. Printing business is, you know, it brings a lot of money, but that is industrialization part,
So along the line, we will ask you, maybe towards the end, we will ask you how you started it because we're talking about job creation. So if someone wants to venture into a business of sorts, what they would do. So towards the end, we'll ask you how maybe you can give us brief steps so that somebody can pick up from you and then. So yes, let's go to the Print Pro Consult.
Yeah, Print Pro, you know, I started as a manager to a printing company and I built expertise from that company. I always say that when we go to work at a place, you know, already we are having unemployment challenges. So if you have the opportunity to work at a place, the least you can get from the place is salary. The most you can get from the place is knowledge and network. So whilst I was working, I was building my expertise in that field. I did banking and finance in Legon. Nothing to do with printing. But I was able to build strong expertise in the printing industry and build network alongside. So that when I moved out, I was able to, you know, register my own company and start a printing company by myself.
Wow.
So it's just about it.
So your former boss, isn't he angry with you that you've run away and gone to start?
Oh, no, I've not run away. I just moved on.
On bigger and better things,
and I always, you know, appreciate owners that encourages their employees to move forward, to move on, because as a person, you cannot always be under someone working. In fact, when I entered into entrepreneurship, my main goal is freedom. Because if I'm not free, you know, I cannot allow time to even be sitting here today. So true. My main goal is to come or seeking permission. And I always say that we are entering into a permissionless economy where you don't ask permission to do the things you value.
Wow. So that was quite inspiring, and I'm sure I'm going to start my TV station. So, yes, being a finance expert, there have been policies over the years, changes in governments and the rest, but it seems as though these policies are not helping. I know of less debt which was in 2011. We know of the National Youth Employment Program, the NABCO, but still we have unemployment issues in the youth. What do you think accounts for that?
So first of all, we need to look at it from the perception, the education point of view, and who is leading the charge.
Okay.
You know, it is important that government comes in to support private sector. But when it comes to job creation, it is on the feet of private sector.
Okay.
Government cannot employ all the youth. It's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
And the number of people who are looking for jobs, the vacancies at the government side is less. So government can only be like a supporter whilst the private sector lead the charge. But what we have now is that people are dependent on government. That is why I say it is a perception and education issue. People are dependent on government. So they always want to get the jobs from the government. And because government also wants to win, you know, its politics and, you know, progress. Because government also want to make sure that the people are in support with what they are doing, they always promise the jobs.
Yeah.
But they know that the jobs they are promising, it needs to be hinged with the private sector. So they always come up with policies. Okay, this youth in that, youth in that, and at the end of the day, it collapses.
Okay.
It's very sad for NABCO because I have a lot of my mates, my colleagues who are within the NABCO program. And as at now, I think there are some areas, some people have not been absorbed yet, even though they are still working. And I want to throw a challenge to the new government that they shouldn't neglect the NABCO people who are still working and maybe say that because they were contracted by the previous government, you know, they want to know. They need to take the charge and make sure that they absorb them into their own system because they've acquired the necessary skills, especially those who are at the GRA, the airports. Those people have worked so well. They need to be looked at to and, you know, absorb them back into the system.
Okay. So I think when you're talking, you made mention the fact that government is not the sole person to be held accountable for unemployment rate. So what should government do to make the environment very conducive for the private sector to actually operate?
Okay, so we have the government at one side and we have private sector at one side. Now, government needs to create an environment which mostly has to do with the tax regimes and the financing. You know, that's what is going to limit the private sector. Because if I'm a rabbit farmer and I want to expand my rabbit farming so that I get a lot of people on board, what I need is funding.
Yeah.
So that I can do about maybe 500 dough units, split it across different districts. Immediately I'm able to do that, I'll be able to get people to, you know, work at these various farms. But me as an individual, I'll not be able to raise those funds. But if a private person is able to, you know, create job and employ people, it releases the burden from the government. So government needs to come in with the funding.
So if government comes in with the funding, isn't that almost the same as government employing so many people, like with this NABCO initiative that they are having arrears? Those monies they could use to fund the other, maybe the private sector, would have been used to pay the people they have employed and then they are owing now.
Yeah, I get it. So the issue really is not about, you know, paying people.
Okay.
That is the challenge we had when we got 100,000 NABCO people into a program. We got them into the program without the job availability.
Okay.
You know, we just brought 100 people, 100,000 people. We will put you on a program and we will pay you. Do they have the jobs? Are there vacancies that they are going to fill? The government don't have enough vacancies.
Yeah.
If you doubt it, when people are in their universities and they want to look for internship, they send letters, they don't get it. So the issue is that the government is limited in creating jobs.
Okay.
It can gather all of us and give us payments. It's not job. But the private sector is able to create job because private sector, it creates solutions to problems. You know, currently we have these sanitation issues. And you have some people like bus stop boys. those people are creating jobs.
Yeah.
Because they are solving a problem.
Yeah.
So what government has to do? It needs to partner with these guys.
Yes. And
so
then
that
give them another.
But government on its own, it becomes like some kind of bureaucracy, sanitation issues, and we don't see the end and tail of it.
Okay.
But with the private sector too, at least with my little experience, I know that we have a minimum wage in the country, payment structure, right? Yeah. But you realize that a degree holder in the civil service, or maybe even in the employed by the government, and is a degree holder employed by the private sector, their salaries are very different.
Okay.
And sometimes you hear comments from people like, it is his business, he has decided he will pay this amount. And so could that be a reason, or I think it could be a reason why a lot of people tend to look to the government for employment, because they know that they will be exploited for, so to speak, by the private sector. Is there a way you think the government can actually also handle an issue like this?
At the private side, it's more like a free market. It's value for value, your negotiation. But anyway, the average salary at the public side, public workers, is just about 2,600 or 700. It's less than 3,000. But you can also have certain private sectors that pay more than that.
Yeah.
So it's more of the individual.
Okay.
That's why we are going to go into, how as an individual you can position yourself for, higher opportunities and now get enough salary. So it's not about private or it's not about public. It's about the individual, the value you are bringing on board, and the negotiation you are placing on it.
So do you think that the government can, in partnership with the private sector, can actually decide, let's say you're a rabbit farming, company. If, let's say, you want to employ 500 people, the government can actually probably impose some strict rules that, if you are going to employ 500 people, maybe this is the minimum wage for, your workers may be of different grades based on the educational value or skills they've put on themselves. So could the government actually decide to say, can they tell you that, since you're employing 500 people, if 10 of them are degree holders, they should be getting this amount. If 20 of them are HND holders, they should be getting this amount, so that they can sort of give a very streamlined payment structure for the private sector as well. Yeah,
government can do that. Like, the labor laws are available for us as a guidance. And the fact is that the minimum wage itself is around 500 cedis per month. I'm not sure of the figure. It's not, private sector can pay that amount. That amount is very small. But what we have as a country is that almost 50% of our workforce are underemployed.
Yes,
about 50% of us are underemployed. So the work that, let's say, an SHS graduate is supposed to do, that is the work the degree holder is coming to do. So the private sector is not paying based on qualification. It's paying based on the value you are bringing on board and the productivity. So if, for example, a master's holder is doing something and a SHS graduate can do the same thing, the private guy will pick the SHS and pay a lower salary, and the SHS person will be happy. And it will leave the master's person hanging.
Because that's what's happening nowadays, because we realize that people have masters in the rest, but they've been at home for 4 or 5 years or even more, based on, and I think what you said is pretty accurate. So what then can we do in a situation like this?
I think before we respond to this, I just want to chip in. See, my question here is, one, you are into agriculture, you are into finance and business related. Governments have tried all its possible ways, especially to create jobs, but it seems not feasible. And for quite. So do you think that it is time for us to look at job creation in the agriculture sector?
Yes. Agriculture sector is, we always say, is the backbone of our economy, but we say it with our mouth. It doesn't reflect in our budget. The budgetary allocation for agriculture is small.
But we had a policy like Planting for Food.
So the policy is there, Now we need to go to the budgetary allocation.
Okay.
So that we know that what kind of investment are we pushing into that sector, so that we don't only say it with our mouth. So for me, anytime there are policies, I want to look at the monies that have been allocated to that policy before I'll begin to be excited about it. Otherwise, I just see it as words in the air.
Well, so something like even the agriculture, especially as you even mentioned, the rural-urban migration. Now, there's almost no land here. So don't we think that there is a bit of a problem with the planting for food and jobs if it is mainly concentrated here? Because, I mean, this is where all the ministries and the things are. This is the hub of Ghana. You mentioned that Northern region has a lot of land space. And I remember even with the previous conversation when you were here, you mentioned that with land, that's the wealth of the agriculture. So if there's a lot of land space, why hasn't the policy, the planting for food and jobs, been sent out there where maybe here we can do more of the industrialization?
It's very sad. It's very sad when I think about it, because, you know, there are people who are in charge to spearhead all these decisions. They have the resources. So sometimes as an individual, you cannot do much. It is those who are in the helms of our affairs, let's say the agric minister, those politicians, they are the people in charge. Right now, you mentioned agriculture. We've introduced planting for food and job. But food inflation is still increasing.
Yes.
That is a big challenge. And I want to throw a challenge even to the education ministry. We need a total overhaul of our education system, our schooling system.
Why?
Our schooling system is not tailored to the solutions we are seeking as a country.
But they are introducing say science and math, STEM education, TVET and all that. So why not tell them to?
I always look at policies and the way it's more like a PR. Okay, they've introduced STEM programs. How many schools have they introduced STEM programs? True. We have 16 regions in this country. How many secondary schools can we find STEM programs?
Can we even find one in each region?
For me, I attended Mauli School in Ho. So if you go to the Volta region, how many STEM schools do we have? We don't only put one STEM school somewhere and make it a big, for the whole country to feel like, okay, then we have STEM schools. No, it's a good start. But when we begin to hype it so much, we begin to relax. We need to do more before we begin to hype things. The reason why I say we need a total overhaul of our education system, which could even result in scrapping some of the courses at the SHS level. Because the problem we are facing in this country, one, is high unemployment. It's a national security issue.
Sure.
We also have price instability, inflation. And it is mostly driven by food. So, you know, it comes back to agriculture.
And then even the agriculture, it's also related to the roads. Because the transportation of the foods is what causes the prices to increase because of catering to losses and the bad roads, so they'll say maintenance of their cars and things like that.
So I think let's speak to this data. As you mentioned, agriculture. We have a data that was yesterday, it was out, and it says that inflation has increased. And looking at it, we have 4 food items that constitutes inflation. A particular one they talked about is money. You see, you are so common with that. And from 2020 to 2024, the inflation rate is over 400%.
Crazy.
And they are saying all these items, they are imported commodities. So in agriculture sector, what are we supposed to do in order to create more jobs for the youth?
Agriculture is our lifeblood. That is the only thing that can save us, because agriculture has the greatest multiplier effect against all other sectors, meaning that if we invest so much in agriculture, our unemployment issues can be solved, our food security issues can be solved, and production and industrialization can all be affected. Now, what I'm actually saying is that in our schools, as for the natural resources, they are there, the land, they are there. But the human resource, are we interested in agriculture? Are we happy? Are we happy to do agriculture?
That's another question.
The reason why we are not happy is because we've not been exposed to it. If you are being exposed to a phenomenon for a longer time, you will get interest in it.
But is it some people too, their parents have been to the farming, like KOKO, for example. But when they grow up, they decide not to join.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I'm saying,
I think even our attitude towards agriculture, even from SHS, is a bit, I don't know, somehow it's made negative, because when you are punished, it is to go and weed, it is to go and clear one of your teacher's farms and things like that. So I think even psychologically, we don't associate agriculture with very good feelings. It's mostly negative. Could that be a reason why people don't want to go?
Yeah, it's part of the reason, because agriculture in the old is laborious.
Okay.
You need to do a lot of work.
So we need industrial machinery too.
And it needs to be introduced at the school level. You know, the people who are in SHS now, in the next 10 years, they'll be like us.
Yeah.
And, you know, we produce about 400 to 500,000 graduates every year. And it keeps compounding. If they don't go into the tertiary, where would they go? They are trapped somewhere. So what I'm actually saying is that we need to go back to our school system, direct our education to solve our specific issues. And what am I saying is that unemployment is high, food inflation is high. So we need to make agriculture like a major theme at the SHS level. And we need to bring the mechanization, like the factories and all those stuff. And we need to introduce courses like agribusiness, agri-tech. Those are the courses I'm looking at. Agri-tech.
So can you break it down for us? Agribusiness, what is it about?
So agribusiness is like a combination of agriculture and business. You know, finding solutions. Using agriculture to find solutions. And mostly it stems from the food production, animal production, and all those stuff. Right now, the people are not aware of it. The people at the SHS. You know, we go to SHS, we eat food. I was discussing with one of my friends that we need to introduce national national farm competition at the school levels.
So do you think that one will solve the problem than the national science and math quiz?
Totally. Me, I'm a business student. I'm not against sciences. In fact, we can even talk about technology and AI. That is the future, is current and future direction. But if we have limited resources and we need to choose between championing national science and math quiz and championing school farms, let's push our investment into school farms. Let this school come. What have you produced? What have you produced? Then we look at your produce, and it's like a competition. At the regional level, it comes to the national level. Students are the one who are involved together with their teachers. All schools should be turned into school farms. I'm saying this passionately because I don't understand why a secondary school be there and say, we don't have food. We need to import rice from another country, and it comes with its own issues. But, you know, some of the schools have a huge land size. And they are protected areas. So our agriculture class, what are they doing? Please, we should merge the agriculture class with the business class, because the business students, they don't have any practical grounds. They don't have any. So let's merge that class with the agriculture class so that it becomes like agribusiness.
So what about the agri-tech then?
The agri-tech is about the technology. You know, mostly schools, we have the tech part where they do this welding, they do a lot of innovations, productions. Yes, let us couple it with the agriculture, because we need to make agriculture the central theme in this country. We shouldn't just say that it is the backbone of the economy and go and sleep. It needs to reflect in our education. It needs to reflect at the SHS level. Because my school, my only school, I'm always proud of them. I think the old students, they are actually doing something like a school farm project.
Wow.
I'm really, really proud of them because they always try to raise the bar. In my only school, we have a pig farm.
So
when
don't the students steal the pig, kill it, and go and
no. Like I said,
pork show or something?
Yeah, we do pork show. Like I said, agriculture in the school setting is well organized. So the food waste from the dining hall, that's what we send to the piggery. I was the dining hall prefect at the time. So I saw how the process is. And when I came out of school, I was also interested in pig farming. Only that I didn't get the space, and pigs are a bit noisy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, if you are being exposed to the thing at the SHS level, you begin to develop some interest. In it.
So in a situation like what you're mentioning about the school farm project, do you think that it would even be a better fit for the school feeding program where, let's say, after they've come for the competition or whatever, then what the produce is just used back in the school to feed the students so that they don't get expired rice?
When we are doing agriculture, especially people ask me this question a lot because I'm a rabbit farmer.
Yeah.
They ask me, do people buy your rabbits? I don't see people chewing rabbit. Is there demand for rabbits? But with the school system, they already have the demand.
Okay.
They need food to eat.
Yeah, the school needs the
food.
food.
If you are producing it on their land, it doesn't mean maybe Mauli school produce all the crops, or maybe this school produce all the crops. Maybe in the northern side, they have expertise. They have expertise in maybe a particular crop. They should produce. Maybe you go to the Volta region, they have expertise in a particular crop. They should produce. Okay. After that, they will be an interchange.
Yeah.
Maybe we take the rice here, we remove the maize here, we bring the poultry here, eggs. Schools, they should be giving them some eggs.
Yeah.
But they don't.
You see, the whole issue here is, I think, way back my school, Shama Senior High in Western Region, as you said, we have a pig farm.
Perfect.
And sometimes going home, they kill the pigs for the students we enjoy. I did my internship at one secondary school, the Boise Senior High in the Western Region. They had a farm, and I think the first season, all the students were asked to go to the farm. You weed, you cultivate. Then I was an intern teacher. Yeah. So you cultivate the maize. We make sure the maize is at the end of the day, we harvest the maize. We feed the student themselves. So I think, as you are saying, I think the education sector and the Ministry of Agri should come together and boost our secondary education, so that such people will develop interest for that. Because when they do develop interest for that and they come out, it's so easy for them to adjust to the system. Because currently we've come to understand that most of us, when you complete from school, what we want is being in suits like me, doing the office work, doing this. But maybe the other side, as you are mentioning, the rabbit business could be of help. Yeah. But now my major concern is, you earlier mentioned of private sector. Yeah. So what other incentive do you think governments need to introduce in the private sector where these people will create more jobs?
Okay, so we can look at tax breaks for private sectors.
Okay.
Because about 20% of businesses, they collapse after 1 year.
Yeah.
And it's difficult if you are a young person and you are starting a business in this country. Today, you will see GRA. They'll be calling you here and there. But if there are tax breaks targeted for the youth, that youth go ahead and start this business, maybe in the agriculture sector, some of the inputs we are going to supply to you.
Okay.
The agri inputs we are going to supply to you as credit, not for free. And employ 1 or 2 people, and there will be a tax break for you. And at least it will begin to encourage people to enter into the sector. Because one of the sectors that are not too formalized is the agri sector.
Yes.
That is why the government too cannot get taxes from that sector. But already it's not formalized. You don't get enough taxes. Give proper tax breaks for them. Formalize them. The only thing that you can use to draw people in is credit.
Yes.
Before I was coming, I was looking at the ADB, Agricultural Development Bank. I was looking at their loans and advances. Where does it go to? I saw that majority of their loans and finances, advances, it goes to corporate, the corporate loans. But the agric loans, which is supposed to be their central mandate, the agric loans were lower than the corporate loans. Only that maybe we need to investigate whether the corporate are agri-corporate institutions or not. But otherwise, why is it that we have a bank specialized in agriculture and you have a lot of loans going to the other side? That is why when the current government, they want to introduce the Women's Bank, they should make sure that the purpose of the bank is It's just directed to what it was intended for.
So would you say that various institutions, government institutions, is missing their mandate, their core mandate of its establishment?
They are missing it. They are missing it so much.
And could that be, let's say, results in the issue we have as unemployment?
Yes, it's partly the cause, because if you've been developed to do a specific thing and you change that mandate to focus on another thing,
okay,
definitely it's the main intention of creating that thing to be abused. And if it's abused, you wouldn't get the necessary benefits you need to get from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question before we just go for a break. I would like to know that in the agriculture where you find yourself now, what is a little challenge? Assuming if a young person wants to venture into that sector.
If a young person wants to venture into agriculture, one of the challenges the person is going to face is capital. Okay. Agriculture, even though we see it as a low-level sector or job, it is capital intensive.
Okay.
So one of their challenges is going to be capital, and the next is going to be some form of partnership.
Partnership.
Because to grow and grow fast, you need certain people to liaise with. Okay. So they can solve that by first of all formalizing themselves. That is very key. If you want to get something from a formal institution, you, the company or the individual, you need to formalize yourself. That way, the institution can deal with you.
Okay.
So capital is number one, and number two should be raw material. Because what the challenge I face is with the feed. Feed costs keep increasing. Today is at this price, tomorrow it increases. And if I'm not financially sound, by God's grace, I wouldn't be able to do this rabbit business as I want it. But for me, I want to turn this rabbit business into a big-time business with factories where we slaughter, we keep the rabbits, and we distribute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have a few comments here, and I think, someone has even sent Elon Musk's post on X about hardcore software engineering. So that's the soft skills. I think we'll come to that very soon. So the first comment here says, this is from Godfred Adam. He says, at least you can earn at a workplace. The least you can earn at a workplace is a salary, and the most you can earn is knowledge and skill. Very insightful. Yeah. Then HM Joe says, the current government shouldn't neglect NABCO, and their skills and knowledge they've acquired will help reset and develop Ghana. HM Joe, we've seen you. You know who you are. Reset Ghana. Then this one says education and training. So this is a question. And he says, how can education and training programs be tailored to equip workers with the skills required for emerging industries and job markets? This is from Mr. Eric Asante from Mampong. And he says, kudos to Clock TV and the KOKO Digest team. So education and training programs, how can they be tailored to equip the workers with skills for the required emerging industries and in the job market?
In the job market. Right now, the emerging industry we have is AI, artificial intelligence. But it is being intertwined with human intelligence.
Yeah.
That is why we now call it integrated intelligence.
Okay.
No longer
so
I. So to be abreast with time, so you need to now pick up certain skills within the AI. AI is not going to replace our jobs. It's going to replace the jobs of people who cannot use the AI. And I think the common AI we have is the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So we need to begin to learn how to use it. We can use it for content creation. For me, now it's making my work very easy. I am also into affiliate marketing. So I go to ChatGPT, I give it the prompt I want. And it gives me, it can give me about maybe 30 for the whole month. Wow. So what I have to do is that every day I pick it and I post. I pick it and I post on social media. So, the opportunities are there. You just need to know what direction you want to go, what industry, and go and learn. This time I always say, all the information we want is on the internet.
Yeah.
Truly, there is no need for school again. Nobody needs to go to school again.
Yeah.
Only that we will go to school for networking.
Okay. So we will come back to this conversation shortly. It's time for a quick break. When we get back, we will open the phone lines for you to call and ask your questions. But for now, you can send them to our WhatsApp number or onto our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to the KOKO Digest Morning Show. If you're just tuning in, this is the KOKO Digest Morning Show, and we're having our main discussion, which is on priority policies for job creation with Mr. Stephen Kwashi and my co-host, Clement Yabankwe. Do send your comments to our WhatsApp number displayed on your screens, and also to our live stream on Facebook and YouTube. We'll read them out loud. And when the phone lines are opened, I will alert you so that you can call and ask Mr. Kwashi all your questions that you would like answered. So back to the conversation. We're talking about AI. I have an issue with this AI thing because of our low literacy rates. Yeah, talking about AI and digitalization. And we have people who have education up to maybe basic 4, if I'm not even exaggerating. How are people like this going to be able to even start taking up this and in benefiting from these digital platforms?
Yeah, thank you very much. And, not all jobs are relevant to all people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing we need to understand. And such a person, if doesn't have the leverage, there are other things the person can do.
Okay.
The person should focus. Always we need to focus on our strengths.
Our strengths.
Take advantage of your advantages. So if your disadvantage is in maybe literacy and you are struggling with it, definitely there's something you can do.
Okay.
You should focus on that. It doesn't mean you cannot also cross over. If you are determined, you can cross over.
So we have a few comments here also. And this one is from HMJ. He says, I side with Stephen on the number of subjects students are subjected to in our high schools. They should be fit for purpose. Thank you so much. I think we'll come back to that conversation because I think I wanted to ask a question.
Cool.
And then Godfred Adam says, loving the convo. Now, HMJ again says, that's a wonderful agricultural practice in these schools. I think that's about the school farm project.
Yeah.
This should be implemented in every senior high school. Thank you so much for your comments. Please do keep them coming. This one says, so this is from Joshua 5786. He says, nice submission. I would love to hear more. And then we have, I would like to say a big thank you to you and your team. This is my first time watching the Digest show, and I've really learned a lot. I'm also a proud old student of Mauli School, and shout outs to your guests. This is from Patience Mensa Redeemer. So, back to the education conversation.
I think
You're saying we should. Okay.
Before you go to education, I still have digital issues. Let him respond to
it's
that.
Like,
then,
okay, there's a lot
then
to,
he just go back. So, what role actually do you think digital transformation in our current economy? Do you think digital transformation is needed in the aspect of job creation?
Yeah, it's very needed, and it is low cost. That is the interesting thing. It is needed and it is low cost. So I'm not even surprised that if you look at the manifestos of the NDC, you look at the manifestos of the NPP, both parties have digital drive in there.
Okay.
And I think they intend to train about 1 million people in digitalization.
Okay.
Very necessary. Now you need to look at the jobs or the skills within the digital space. You can have something like graphic designing.
Okay.
don't look down on some of the jobs. So.
No.
I mean,
we have
to
very
the
good
team.
graphic design, especially
because-
Clock TV.
Yes, you know.
Yes,
Before I
we have
came, you did a very wonderful design for
Exactly.
me. I posted it on my WhatsApp. I posted it on my LinkedIn. I posted it on my Facebook.
Oh, wow.
And people started loving it.
Wow.
For our people, when it comes to graphic designing, it's so perfect.
It's a top skill.
Okay.
Graphic designing, and you know you can do it from your home.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't need to even move from one end to another. It's a skill. Videography, photography.
We have a
This-
special shout out to our photographer,
These
JB.
things are things people really sometimes look down upon.
They look down
Yeah.
upon. Is it? We are not. I don't know. We have a problem.
Yeah, but
Things
you
that
know,
are going to help
that
us.
sector is getting saturated, especially with these digital skills, the cybersecurity, digital marketing, UI, UX design, all of that too. A lot of people are entering into that space, and
Yeah.
it's getting saturated. So you get people saying, I've learned it, but I'm not getting any jobs.
Yeah, you know, the space. The reason why I'm saying that space is low cost is because it can cross border.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
You
can
can
be
get a
here
job in
and
the
do a
US.
job for somebody in US for graphic designing. So it can never get saturated. The market is wide.
Very
But
wide.
you know, I always say, when we start our education from the SHS level, one of the skill we need to learn is selling skill. We need to learn how to sell.
Selling in terms of
Marketing.
Hey, Mikra, we're trying to say selling anything. we need to
so-
learn how to sell
does,
What
anything.
about
doesn't mean
bargaining?
that doesn't mean that currently we don't have that selling skill.
We don't know how to sell.
But
in this country.
our mothers and those who do negotiation, they are doing well. Or you don't think so?
But that's that generation. You and I, can we go and sell?
Because yeah, they are doing well.
Okay.
They are doing well, but not so much.
Okay. So what is lacking?
You know, we need to do a selling from the point of view to solve problems.
Okay.
Where if you are selling to someone, the person doesn't feel like you are pestering him or her,
Yeah.
or you are forcing the person. But if you are selling to somebody, the person will think that, hey, this person has thought of me very well to bring this product to
Yeah.
me. Hey, this person is very, very good. Why is that we cannot sell insurance in this country? Why is that people don't have health insurance? Why is that people don't have life insurance? Something that is very, very critical for our life. But people have car insurance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you thought of it? Why is that people have car insurance, people don't have life insurance? We don't know how to sell.
Sell it. Okay.
And if we want to learn how to sell, we the buyers, we need to also learn how to buy. You know, it goes. You know,
Sellers
like,
need to learn how to sell. Buyers need to learn how to buy.
yeah, because
That's
so it
good.
goes back to the kind of education we need to have as a country. The business education we have at the secondary school level is not enough.
Okay.
It's not helping. We need to be blunt with this truth. It needs to be scrubbed off and be linked to agriculture.
It's very true. Sometimes you learn BM accounting, you come out there and something different is happening.
Right.
I'm telling you the truth because I'm a business student from SHS level to first degree to master's level. So I know what is being taught, you know, as a business student. How can you be a business student, you finish first degree, you cannot sell? If you know how to sell, you will never lack money.
Yeah.
So I think this is one skill today we don't want you to go away with.
Yes.
At least viewers are watching.
Yeah.
They want to learn this skill from you. So if you
Yeah.
can
So
at least
sell the
demonstrate,
rabbits,
yes,
yes.
not even the rabbits. If you can demonstrate how to sell this phone so that viewers can learn that.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Assuming I want to buy the phone.
you want to buy this phone.
Yes, so you are selling. Just a small narration for viewers to know how to sell and how to buy.
Hello,
Hello,
how are you doing?
I'm fine.
How is your business?
Oh, by grace, it's moving well.
How is family too?
They are doing so wonderful.
My name is Steven.
I'm Clement.
Okay, so I have a beautiful product here. I'll not show it to you now, but after a few presentation, I would let you have a look at it.
But I'm kind of busy right now. I want to go for a meeting.
Okay, so can I get your contact?
So my PA will give you the contacts.
Okay, so where can I meet your PA?
Just outside after this shot.
Okay, so, okay, let's go. So at that point, this selling will pause here. Okay. Now, the reason why I did that is because selling is not forcing.
Okay.
Selling is not persuasion. I'm not persuading you to buy. Do you get it?
Yeah.
I'm just coming to help you to get something that I know it will help you. So I need to go through a process. So selling has a process.
Okay.
It's not by force. So today, I don't intend to sell the phone to you today. It's not today I'll sell the phone to you.
Okay.
I know it's not today. I need to show you some of the benefits of using mobile phones. Maybe you don't know. I need to let you know that if you have a family member in US you've not heard from for so long, I need to let you know that this phone can help you connect with that person. I want to let you know that this phone, if you want to take pictures, you can use this phone to take pictures. I want to let you know so many benefits that will help you. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen one time.
Yes.
The problem is that we don't know how to sell. We want to sell today and now.
And now.
Selling is relationship building.
But
If you build
you're
relationship,
hungry, so
I just want to say something before you come in.
bread.
I think viewers, today you've gotten one job opportunity. We are talking about job creation.
Yeah.
And this happens to be one job opportunity. I think you don't want to let it go. So now we've learned how to sell. So this one is bonus. Just take it home. We can continue.
Learning is relationship
But I think
building.
I want to see you. No, for lack of a better word, convincing him to buy. That is where because this one the PA, this is after month. But let's say you've got
so
him now.
what will happen is that when I get the PA's contact, I'm going to do a follow up.
Okay.
I want to speak to
Mr. Clement.
Mr. Clement.
Yeah.
So that Mr. Clement will give me another opportunity to see him.
Okay.
So meaning that Mr. Clement does not have a phone. Let's assume it. It means that he doesn't have a phone. So
I
he wants
think
to
you
buy a
are
phone.
speaking. Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Or maybe he has a certain phone, but not to a certain quality.
Yeah.
So now I need to get to Mr. Clement, begin to tell him some of the benefits of my phone.
Okay.
Without even discussing price.
Okay.
I need to let him know that this phone is going to help him in his business and all that.
Okay.
When he now agrees, then I show him the product.
Okay. So can we
will
still
buy.
have a small preview of it?
Yes. So, this phone, I've seen your business you are doing. You are doing a rabbit business. Yeah. But I can see that your business is not on social media.
No, it's not.
So because of that, you don't have a lot of audience. Do you know if you have a lot of audience, you can get enough market? So I want you to use this phone. This is my phone. The camera quality is very high. So I'll go with you to your rabbit farm. We take few pictures with this phone and post on social media. Now you can also use this phone to do some small content creation. And you also use to post on social media. Now, what will be happening in Clement's mind is that he begins to see the importance of this phone. And now when this phone is beginning to benefit him, now you know that, okay, I can use this phone to do this and that. He will now ask me, how much is this phone?
So I have a question. So there's an Android, okay, you're holding an iPhone. This is not marketing for any brands, but let's say, since you're holding an iPhone, he has an Android. And you know that he has an Android, but you want him to buy your iPhone. Does that mean that you will try to, let's say with the camera quality, you try to do some comparisons for him that if you use this iPhone to take your rabbits, the pictures will be clearer as a way to convince him as well. Is that a part of it?
I'll do that, but mostly in my selling, I don't want to so much focus on the alternative.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to focus on what I'm selling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he has this phone here, so he will say, but send me my phone that down.
So I'll still focus on
what you are saying.
Okay. Correct. Let me show you how I got a calendar printing business. Okay. I went to an office just this year. I'm just talking about this year. I went to an office and I spoke with the woman. I was supposed to do a job for her.
Okay.
Then the calendar on her desk is 2024. So I saw it. I didn't talk at all. I know she has a problem. That is a problem sitting on her desk. She doesn't know yet, but I will begin to expose it to her.
Okay.
So I went back and I went to do a sample calendar. So on my next meeting, I showed it to her. She doesn't. It's a big company. So when I showed it, she said, "Oh, Steve, na me cry, na be say yenye calendar no, but adaji any oh, we my nice. We na on say want me flip no, we so inti we no, it's a flipped one.
Yeah.
But we all the years are on one page with their pictures and all that.
Okay.
And I said, oh, nice. So I just took, I've been doing some works for them. And he said, okay. He asked me of the price, we negotiated, and I need to print for the other offices.
Okay.
So selling is, like I said, selling is a relationship building. Okay. People will not buy from you unless they know you,
Okay.
they like you,
Yeah.
and they trust you.
No,
Like and trust.
trust.
So if I'm selling, I'm not in a rush at all. Like you are saying, maybe I need to sell it today. I don't want to sell it today. In fact, I want to get to know the guy very well, have some cool relationship with him. Let me show you another time somebody bought rabbit for me on Facebook. I posted my rabbit flyer, and the person asked me. And I just moved away from my rabbit selling. I asked him, how is he? He said he's fine. I asked him that. I stay at Ablekuma. Where do you stay? And he said, oh, he's also at Ablekuma. He said, oh.
Nice one.
Next, he said, Afa. So in my selling, my first step is to create the relationship.
Yeah.
So if I create a relationship, everything is just going to be, it will be a follow-up.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying, selling is a science. And
It's a science.
when we learn how to sell, it doesn't matter whether the skill is saturated or not. We'll be able to stand out.
Okay.
And
so
earn
I
some
think
money.
one thing I've picked from a lot of what you've said is that you identify a need of your customer and then you meet it for them. So like with the calendar issue and even Mr. Clement and his rabbit farm, he doesn't have a social media page, so you use that. So yes, viewers, one of the ways to sell, identify a problem for your customers and then try to sell your item to meet that need for them. Yes, we were...
Just 1 minute.
Okay.
On a digital scale,
Okay.
I want to throw the challenge to the youth. You know, we have about 275 or 76 MPs.
76, yeah.
Yes.
Some of them have social media presence.
Yes.
Some of them
Yeah,
do
they
not.
don't, yeah.
Those who do not have social media presence, they have a problem. Just that they don't know it yet.
It's true.
So can people begin to look out for the MPs who do not have social media presence?
This one is free job
Yes,
opportunity.
tailor something and show it to them that MP, the way the world is going, you need to be out there for people to see the policies and things like the contributions you are making on parliament. Your people need to see.
Yeah.
So those who do not have Facebook, those who do not have LinkedIn, those who do not have Instagram, and even TikTok,
Hey, take
you want
MP,
to become MP on
Yeah, some of them on
TikTok.
TikTok.
You want to now connect
with the people.
with the constituency. So I want to be your social media manager for MP of so and so.
But that being said, to make sure you are trustworthy, because these are public officials.
Yeah.
If you go and you take this advice and you go and do something bad, please don't come and mention KOKO Digest. We are not bad.
And to add, I think this one is not only in terms of ministers and MPs.
It's
At least you know your uncle who is doing business, not on social media. People around you who don't have social media presence, you think it's very good for them. You quickly do that. But I think that's one of what our videographer is doing for the church.
Yeah.
It's really propagating the presence of this man of God on there.
Maybe it's because I like money, but in a situation like this, if the person now tells you, "Miniska meet you," what then happens?
Yes.
That's another
Because
question.
it is a job creation avenue, and this job creation, it is for sustenance.
Yes.
To get something in your pocket to survive, right?
Yeah.
So what happens in a situation like that?
Yeah, so when you start, you need to do pro bono, especially if the person is not willing to pay. You need to let the person get the value. Always when you sell, the value must be bigger than the price.
Okay.
So if the person has not seen your value yet, you keep pushing the value. And what happens is that now I do it for you for free. Now I have something to hold on to show to another person that this is what I'm doing for Mr. A or B. So if you are not paying me with your work, I can use to get another job and get payment for it.
Okay.
Before I started selling rabbit, before I entered into rabbit farm, this is one advice the guy gave to me. You know, sometimes it's not as if the people have to be in suit or PhD before you take the advice.
Yeah.
This is the guy I bought my cages from. He told me that, Steve, before you start your rabbit farm, start selling the rabbits so that people will get to know that you do rabbits.
Okay.
Before your rabbit begins to produce.
Yeah.
And I did my flyer. You know, I'm already in the printing industry, so quickly I got my flyers and I started selling rabbits before my rabbits started producing.
Okay. So our phone lines are open, so you're welcome to call and ask your questions. And if not to, you can send your messages to our WhatsApp number displayed on the screen. We have the call number displayed at the moment. The WhatsApp number will also come. Or as you are joining the live stream on Facebook and YouTube, you can also send your comments there. So we have a few more comments here. This one says, I am loving KOKO Digest concrete design setup. I am Mrs. Erin Ayiku, all the way from the Savannah region. To my question about the labor market regulations, how can labor market regulations such as minimum wage laws and worker protection policies be balanced to promote job creation while ensuring fair treatment of workers? Hey, madam, this I've come for my job. But we'll come back to that question. Let me read another comment here. This one says, I really agree with Stevenson. Mastering the art of sales is the key to unlocking unlimited earning potential, as it enables you to effectively communicate value, building relationships, and drive revenue regardless of the product, service, or industry. I am really enjoying the discussion. This is from Bruce Wayne. Hey, Batman. Now, we also have a few more here. And this one says, so the art of selling is truly not taught in schools. This is from HM Joe. So once again, the phone lines are open, so you can call and ask your questions. And I'm hoping maybe some of the unemployed people can grill him more on a few more ways to create some jobs for themselves. So we have certain foreign investors that's coming to Ghana to start up businesses and things, but after some time they leave. What do you think the government can do to capitalize on that? Because something like, even while on the break, you mentioned the oil, refineries and stuff like that, and mostly these are foreign companies. When they leave, we are also just left hanging. What can we do to mitigate such an issue?
We need to find out the reasons why they are leaving. Maybe some of their challenges.
Economic downturn.
Yes, some of their challenges. And
because last day about 4 or 5 companies left.
Yeah, they left.
Even restaurants, a lot of them keep folding up.
Yeah, but remember that as a business, if something is not going right for you, sometimes you can close down and start another one.
Okay.
In a different sector. Yeah. But if it's a challenge that can be corrected, then the government should, look at them. We need to establish long-term contracts with these foreign investors. When they come and settle, maybe they're into oil production and stuff like that, we should have a long-term contract with them, so that they can stay. What are their challenges as a government you set? Because government, I always say, you cannot create jobs, enough jobs. Yeah. Government jobs are mostly like security service, office works, and most of them are not even production related. Yeah. They are more like the office works, and they are not production related.
Kwame Nkrumah wanted to start, or he started this industrialization with the factories and things. That's what a lot of even a larger portion of our economy even depends on. Yeah. So why not continue something like that? Because if, let's say, with the oil conversation we had while on the break, these people come, we give them a contract that, okay, as you've come, maybe they like giving them tax waivers, so let's use tax waivers. Tax waiver, but train these people, operate here for this number of years, for these people to be able to stand on their own. When you get all your FDI and things and you are leaving, we can also benefit. Is that something that you think the government can do?
Yeah, government can do a lot of things, but it needs to be in a proper context, especially the industry. Okay. Maybe somebody is coming in, he wants a tax waiver, but the industry the person is operating in, the impact is going to have on the economy is not much. So the person really doesn't need to get that tax waiver. Yeah. We need to give tax waivers to industries or firms. That's the effect is going to have on our economy will be great, especially on employment. That is what we have to look at, and that is where data is important. the research. They look at this industry. Because when I read the data, I realized that agriculture has a higher multiplier effect, meaning that if you put $1 million in agriculture, the effect is going to be more than if you put it in manufacturing, if you put it in service sector. So it's all driven by data. So we need to have the data to back some of these tax waiver decisions we are giving to these foreign investors. So that when you make them, people will not say it's a political move or it is that move. Then we are all okay.
So I think you mentioned of agriculture, and earlier you mentioned that the various secondary schools need to have schools farm. Do you also think that we need to have a national farm?
National farm.
Yes,
people will lose it.
Because for the fact, for example, our KOKO, for example, we buy it from, let's say, individuals, citizens. Can we have a situation that you think that we should have a vast land where this will be a national farm, where people will be working on it for the nation? Is there something like that possible?
It's also possible.
And but I think when the variations in input affect the returns, because if the three of us buy a plot of land based on, so you bring the largest portion, I bring 2/3, you bring 1/3 or something, and you own a very small portion of it, wouldn't that affect the dynamics of the ROI?
I think let me make my point more clear. As at 2020, 2018, government introduced a policy like planting, is it tree planting?
Yeah.
And as at then, they clear the forest. They will clear all the forests. I'm from Takrady, so I know that side. The boss, we have a forest under the Subri forest. They clear a part of the forest and they plant new trees, big timbers. Once they clear the forest, they give it to the citizens. They'll be planting those kind of food crops, so that once they do that, they'll be monitoring the growth of the trees. Can something like this?
Hold on, we have a caller on the line. Please hold that thought. Hello, good morning. You're welcome to the KOKO Digest show. Fafa.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Fafa. Thank you so much for calling.
I'm calling from Ayukuma.
Okay. So what's your question, please?
Please, I didn't join in early today. I joined in when they were discussing about how to sell.
Okay.
And this is a stay-home mom that I want to start a business. But looking at things, I realized that taxing on a small scale is quite very expensive in Ghana here, because especially that the man is saying he's into printing. When you print less, it's more expensive. When you print more, it's cheaper. And I decided to sell somebody's products whilst I order my product to sell. But the price at which the person is giving me is high. And because I'm new into the market, I want to penetrate the market with a low price. So even with that, I'm finding it difficult to even resell what she is selling before waiting for mine. So in such a situation, what can I do? Thank you.
Thank you too.
What she said again?
She said she just mentioned somebody's products.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we still have Fafa on the line?
Oh, I think she's off.
Okay. If Fafa, you can text us what exactly you are selling, so he can tailor his advice. Maybe make it a little generic here.
Yeah. So let's say general.
Yeah.
You are selling something. I think she said she wants to use price penetration strategy.
Yeah.
A lower price to enter into the market. So
but she's also retailing somebody's
She's also retailing
products
and stuff. So it means that whatever it is, somebody is going to beat her to price.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if you have more information, you know that somebody is going to beat her to price. In fact, price cutting is not the best strategy. Price cutting is only the best strategy if you have large audience.
Please come again.
Price cutting is not the best strategy.
Okay.
It's only the best strategy if you have large audience.
Wow.
Where if you cut the price, the audience will come in and pick it. Then it will balance it off.
So a situation like Fafa, she doesn't have the audience.
Large audience.
She just said she's now entering into
so
the...
Fafa, what Fafa needs to do is to look for high-end buyers. What Fafa needs to do now is to look for high-end buyers for her product.
Okay.
That is the work most people cannot do.
Okay.
So Fafa needs to put upon herself to research high-end buyers. And
So
even when she
how-
does that, she can now even increase her price
prices.
and not even drop the price. Now, like I said, I don't know the product she's selling, but mostly the people who are high earners in this country are older,
Okay.
maybe above 50 years. They have more money than the younger people. I don't know her product again, so I don't know where she can find her customers.
Okay.
Otherwise, if she knows her customers, she needs to look at where the high earners sit,
Yeah.
where the high earners play. For me, I go to places. So I go to places not because I really want to go to those places, but because I want to
You
meet
want to get
certain people.
Okay.
Okay.
So we even have a question here. It says, we had state farms. What happened to them? But
So my question, I think someone has, yes.
yeah, someone has asked your question, but
Yeah.
then our time is up.
Alright.
So we will just take
Fafa,
concluding remarks.
look for somebody at the high end who can buy. If you want to be rich, sell to the rich, and that is simple for you.
Again.
If you want to be rich, sell to the rich.
Finding the rich people is a problem.
Is a problem. So that's where
Wow.
the work is, and you have to do it. I really wanted to, because job creation is linked to value creation.
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about value creation.
I think we will have to do part 2.
Part 2.
Yes.
Yes.
So
that we now talk about value creation.
Yeah, value creation
Yeah.
for the job
But
market.
as a wrap up, I would encourage all of us. Thankfully, we are all youth.
Yeah.
I will encourage all of us that we shouldn't do one job. If your employer limits you to one job, leave that employer.
Please, again.
If your employer limits you to one job, leave that employer.
So meaning we should multitask.
Multitask, multiple streams of income. Some will not require you to move from your place.
Yeah.
Some will require you to do it in the evenings.
Okay.
Because of the digital skills
Yeah.
you are going to build. Because one source of income will never cut it in this economy.
Okay.
So 2-3 streams of income must become a norm
Yeah.
for this country. Don't laugh at your friend who is posting sneakers on his status. Don't laugh at your friend who is posting perfumes on his or her status. Those are the rich people. In fact, you need to begin to associate with them. Because
Yeah.
they've, to sell, you need to break away from a certain stereotype before you'll be able to sell. So if you see someone selling, you should know that that person is a successful person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a seller.
We have one more comment here, then we wrap up. But I think it's a question. Maybe for the part 2, I'll try and remember to ask again. But this one says, is also from another person called Stephen. He says, I'm enjoying the discussion. Can Stephen help us to know the most efficient techniques in selling to serve as a benchmark? Thanks. This is from Stephen Morrison from East Legon. Now, Fafa says she sells kids' wear and kids' activity books.
Oh,
so
nice
the
one.
mothers and parents, yes.
She already has a rich client because the clients around those places are older. You should start.
Okay, so thank you so much. This has been a very insightful conversation. This brings us to the end of this conversation. Thank you so much, Clement, for joining me here. And of course, thank you to Mr. Stephen Kwashi. Thank you, our viewers. Thank you, management, our sponsors, our production team. A big thank you to you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you again on Tuesday, bright and early. Do have an amazing weekend ahead.
Clog TV. Beyond the policy.